If you had 86,400 rupees with you and you lost 10 rupees out of that, would you throw away the rest of the 86,390 rupees just to sulk over those lost 10 rupees? No, right? But a lot of us do that. There are 86,400 seconds in a day, and if some asshole ruins 10 seconds out of that, we lose the rest of the time sulking over the lost 10 seconds. If this theory could apply to our money, why not to our time? This is a classic example of our mind controlling us, whereas what should be happening is us controlling our minds. And that, my friends, is the philosophy of Stoicism. But the problem is that in today's times, many of us get the concept of Stoicism wrong. For them, Stoicism looks something like this. Bro, my cat died and I'm really sad about it. I feel hurt. I don't give a fuck. To fuck with your cat, to fuck with your sadness, I don't give a shit, and neither should you. Stay strong, buddy. For a lot of people, Stoicism just means the absence of emotions, not feeling anything, being an absolute nonchalant dick. But no, that's not what true Stoicism is. To understand what this concept really means, we need to understand the Vedic graph of Chandra, the planet responsible for our mind, our emotions, volatility, and fluids. Now, we know that emotions are basically hormones that are triggered when some external stimulus affects us. If somebody, crashes into our car, we feel a sudden surge of anger and resentment towards that person. Or if somebody tells us a good news, we feel extremely happy about it. The question is, if these emotions are controlled by Chandrama, they must be also volatile, right? They must have a wave-like nature where they go up and down and flow like water. Meaning that if they spike at one moment, they must also dissipate at another. Turns out this is indeed the case. Neuroscientists have concluded that emotional spikes last for only 90 seconds. Which means that we feel emotions for 90 seconds only. Which means that we feel emotions and all their physical manifestations for 90 seconds only. So all the jaw clenching, all the body tightness, or all the racing heartbeats that you feel, all for 90 seconds. Nothing lasts beyond that 90-second mark. But wait. If somebody kicks me in the balls, I'll feel angry about it, right? That's right, you will feel angry about it. But you only just said you'll feel angry. And feelings are not emotions. We need to understand that Chandrama is the ruler of emotions and not feelings. Because feelings are processed emotions. I'll give you an example. You have a baby in front of you who doesn't know how to speak or how to react to anything around it. All it can do is just, smile and maybe cry. What you do is you pull its leg. You just go and do this kind of a thing. So what you do is you go to the baby and you pull its cheeks like this. The baby will maybe frown. It will start crying. Okay, it will just feel sad for a moment. But the next time when you come near it, it will be as if nothing happened. The baby will not sulk at seeing you. That is because the baby right now has emotions but no feelings. What the baby did earlier was have an emotion. It felt irritated when somebody pulled at its cheeks. But it did not process that emotion to feel a sense of resentment towards the person who pulled his cheeks. So since there is no processing involved, we can clearly differentiate between emotions and feelings. And because feelings are a process, and because feelings are an outcome of a mental process, they come under the domain of none other than Mercury. Yes, that's right. Feelings are not the moon's departments, contrary to popular belief. A lot of you might disagree with me on this, but I'll say it again and again. Emotions come under the moon, feelings come under Mercury. Because feelings are nothing but processed emotions. The guilt, the resentment, the bitterness, the joy, the euphoria, everything you feel, They are all but processed emotions. So to become a true Stoic, we need to understand what the moon does. So we discussed earlier that the moon represents water, right? To understand it, let's imagine a tub of water. You place it in the bathroom. Okay, all well placed. You throw a stone into it, and you see that stone creates a massive ripple across the water. That ripple creates a wave which travels to the end of the tub. Now you have two options. The first option is you can shake the tub manually and see those waves getting bounced back off the walls of the tub and come back to the center and create a total commotion inside of the tub, some water even spilling out. The other option that you have is to just sit and observe. Observe the motion of water. See the waves go up and down till they reach the end of the tub and die down eventually. The second option is what a true Stoic would choose. Water has the property that if you create waves in it and you do not disturb those waves will automatically dissipate. This is something we learn from the moon, that if you do not disturb water, it just dies down. The waves that you create. So imagine that if a stone of external stimuli is thrown by somebody into the pond of your mind, it creates an emotion. That emotion is the ripple. Now if you just sit back and observe what happens to your body, when those waves are traversing across the pond of your mind, you'll see that those waves automatically die down after 90 seconds. Just sit back, relax, see what happens to your body. If let's say it's a feeling of anger, you'll see that your jaw gets clenched, your body becomes very tense, you are all frowning and stuff. Observe all of this. The true Stoic observes. He doesn't let the mind control him. He just sits back and he observes those emotions. After 90 seconds, everything clears out. The clenching of the jaw, the racing heartbeat, everything settles. Now you're in a state of absolute nothingness. This is when you decide what to do about that emotion. You do not keep feeding into the emotion again and again. You do not keep thinking about the stimuli again and again, because that will trigger a cycle of 90-second cycles. So every time you think about that stimuli, what happened, the 90-second cycle goes again. So you think about it again, it happens again. The same 90-second process. You think about it again, the same 90-second process happens again. So this keeps on repeating and repeating as long as you keep feeding it a narrative, as long as you keep processing that emotion. So the goal is to not let Mercury handle something which is governed by the moon. And that is what is important here. Mercury is processing. If you see that, okay, this guy wronged me and I feel very angry because of what he did, if you let that process, you give it to Mercury. And then Mercury will start strategizing. Okay, I'll have to plan a revenge, I'll have to get back at him. Fine, do that. But you don't let two planets operate your mind at the same time. Once you are done with the moon's part, once you are done feeling the emotion, once you are done experiencing the emotion, this is the time when you let the other planets jump in. Now you bring in Mercury and you ask him, okay, this guy caused a certain amount of pain to me, what to do with him? I don't feel angry anymore, but I need to do something about it. I need to do something to even the score. Now those two planetary energies will not mix or disturb each other. And now, since you have separated both these energies, now you are operating in a place where you have more control over your mind and not the other way around. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is what true Stoicism is. If you like this concept, do hit a like and subscribe to this channel. I'll be coming back with more such insightful videos. My name is Oman and I'll see you on the next one.